let's look at this set. Total 5 teams participated in a one-day cricket tournament. They were India, South Africa, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka and Australia. Following are the highlights and scoring rules of the tournament. Each team plays against every other team exactly once. 5 teams, everyone plays against each other exactly once. So there are 10 matches. Okay. Every match can result in a win for one team or a draw. If the winning team wins by a margin of minimum 100 runs or by 10 wickets, it is said to have won the match comprehensively. Otherwise, it is said to have won that match routinely. So even within wins, there are two cases. Either you win the match comprehensively or you win the match routinely. In a match that ends in a draw, both teams are awarded 1 point each. In a match that does not end in a draw, which means there is a victory and a loss, 3 points are awarded to the winning team and no point is awarded to the losing team. Okay. So for a draw, 2 points are given out, one to this team, one to this team. And for a win, 3 points are given out to the winning team. Additional 2 bonus points are awarded to the winning team that wins a match comprehensively. So you get 2 additional points for winning a match comprehensively. Match between India and Australia resulted in a draw. Okay. Only 2 teams were awarded additional bonus points for winning by a margin of 100 runs or by 10 wickets, and no team won more than one match comprehensively. Final point count of India, South Africa, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, and Australia at the end of the tournament was 12, 7, 6, 5, and 1, respectively. Maximum number of matches drawn by a team was 2. So lots of information. Let's do this work first. I will write down all the matches that will happen. So I have India, South Africa, India, New Zealand, India, Sri Lanka, and India, Australia. Then we have South Africa, New Zealand, South Africa, Sri Lanka, South Africa, Australia. Then we have New Zealand, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Australia. Finally, we have Sri Lanka, Australia. Now, of these matches, we have one outcome told to us. India versus Australia ended in a draw. So this match ended in a draw. Now, we're also told the points total of the team. India, South Africa, and New Zealand, and Sri Lanka, and Australia. I see India has 12 points. South Africa has 7 points. New Zealand has 6 points. Sri Lanka has 5 points. And Australia has 1 point. Now, the 1 point, see, India has 12 points and Australia has 1 point. These are the points you should focus on, extreme values. Australia's 1 point can only come in the draw with India, which means in every other match, Australia has lost. In every other match, Australia has lost. So here South Africa won. Here New Zealand won. Here Sri Lanka won. These are guaranteed. These are guaranteed outcomes. Okay. Now India has drawn its match with Australia. India has drawn its match with Australia. 1 point it got from there. There are 3 more matches for India. If it won the other 3 matches routinely, if India won the other 3 matches routinely, it can accumulate a maximum of 10 points. The fact that India has 12 points here means India definitely won these 3 matches. Not only that, one of these was a comprehensive win. So it has 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 comprehensive win. India has 1 comprehensive win. Australia has 1 draw only. Okay. Now let us look at one of these matches ended in a comprehensive win for India. Which match was that? We don't know. But one of these matches ended in a comprehensive win. Okay. Now, okay. We were also told maximum number of matches drawn by a team was 2. and only 2 teams were awarded additional bonus points for winning by a margin. Basically, 2 teams got comprehensive wala points. Now, which team could have gotten comprehensive wala points? New Zealand won one match, maybe say drew another match, or won one match, drew another match, and the match that it won comprehensively, then it reaches 6. Or South Africa won 2 matches, drew one match. Or Sri Lanka won one match, drew 2 matches, or won one match comprehensively. These are lots of cases that will get generated. These are lots of cases that will get generated if you try to identify where you have the comprehensive victory wala match. But what is fun is, let's try and identify which team can potentially have 2 draws. Which team can potentially have 2 draws? Can New Zealand have 2 draws? See, one win gets you 3 points. One win gets you 3 points. Maximum number of matches drawn by a team. So a single team is having 2 draws. If New Zealand has 2 draws, it cannot reach a points total of 6. The only way you can make 6 points is there are 2 ways in which you can make 6 points. Either you win a match comprehensively and have a draw, or you have 2 routine wins. Those are the only 2 ways in which you make 6 points. You cannot have 2 draws included within 6 points. Okay. For South Africa, you can make 7 points in the following manner. You can have 1 win comprehensive and 2 draws. 1 win comprehensive and 2 draws. You can have it. And the other way you can make it is 2 routine wins and 1 draw. 2 routine wins and 1 draw, and 1 comprehensive win and 2 draws. There are 2 ways in which you can make 7 for South Africa. For Sri Lanka, also for 5, you can make it this way. 1 win, 2 draws will get you to 5, or 1 comprehensive win will get you to 5. In all the cases, see, for 7, you can have it as 1 comprehensive win and 2 draws. And for 6, you can have it as 1 comprehensive win, 2 draws, 2 routine wins, and 1 draw. For 6 points, you can have is at 2 routine wins, and that's it. Or you can have it as 1 comprehensive win and 1 draw. And for 5 points, you can have 1 comprehensive win and the other being 1 routine win and 2 draws. So, can we be certain New Zealand is definitely not the team? New Zealand is definitely not the team which is having. New Zealand is definitely not the team that is having a draw. New Zealand is definitely not the team that is having a draw. So if New Zealand is not having a draw, if New Zealand is not having a draw, New Zealand has 2 routine wins. New Zealand has 2 routine wins. If New Zealand has 2 routine wins, can you see? Sorry. New Zealand is not the team that is having 2 draws. Sorry. The inference is New Zealand is not the team that is having 2 draws. Now, if New Zealand has 2 routine wins, can you see the problem that it will generate? India is not the team that has 2 draws. Australia is not the team that has 2 draws. And the draw that India and Australia have is with each other. So if South Africa needs 2 draws, if South Africa is the team that is getting 2 draws, it will be with New Zealand and Sri Lanka. If Sri Lanka is the team that is having 2 draws, it will be with New Zealand and South Africa. So if New Zealand ends up with only 2 routine wins, then the problem would be that Sri Lanka and South Africa, whichever team ends up with 2 draws, they will not have an opponent available to have a draw with, which would mean New Zealand cannot have 2 routine wins. The only case possible is there is one comprehensive victory for New Zealand and one draw. And the comprehensive victory will, of course, be against Australia. This is now known because the one win that New Zealand definitely has is against Australia. We have one win, one draw, and that win is comprehensive in nature. Okay. Now, New Zealand's draw will be with whom? Now, see, South Africa, given that 2 comprehensive wins have already been accounted for in the tournament, given that 2 comprehensive wins that were supposed to be there in the tournament are already accounted for, this case for South Africa is anyway gone. You cannot have this case for South Africa where you had 1 comprehensive win and 2 draws. Now, the only team that can have 2 draws, in fact, this comprehensive win case for Sri Lanka is also gone. So, the precise outcomes available for South Africa, we have 2 wins and 1 draw. And for Sri Lanka, we have 1 win and 2 draws. If Sri Lanka is supposed to have 2 draws, this match will be a draw. And this match will be a draw. New Zealand's draw is also taken care of. South Africa's draw is also taken care of. And in the match between South Africa and New Zealand, see, New Zealand had 1 win and 1 draw. 1 win against Australia and 1 draw against Sri Lanka is already taken care of. So in this match, South Africa wins. And now we have the outcomes of all the 10 matches, which team won, which team did not win. We also know one of the comprehensive win matches. We also know New Zealand Australia was a comprehensive victory match. And one of these 3 is a comprehensive win match. India versus South Africa, India versus New Zealand, and India versus Sri Lanka. But which match was it? We don't know. Let's get to individual questions. Out of the 5 teams, for how many teams the number of matches won, lost, and drawn can be definitely determined? It can be determined for all 5 teams. For all 5 teams, we have the precise outcomes. What was the result of the match between New Zealand and Australia? New Zealand won routinely. New Zealand won comprehensively. Australia won routinely. The match ended in a draw. The answer is New Zealand won comprehensively. Which of the following matches ended in a draw? South Africa versus Sri Lanka? Yes, ended in a draw. New Zealand versus Sri Lanka? Yes, ended in a draw. South Africa versus New Zealand? No, did not end in a draw. Therefore, the answer has to be option A. And the last question, which of the following statements are correct? At least one match played by each team ended in a draw. India has 1 draw, South Africa has 1 draw, New Zealand has 1 draw, Sri Lanka has 2 draws, Australia has 1 draw. So yes, at least one match played by each team ended in a draw. This is a true statement. Win-loss draw table for exactly 2 teams looked similar. That is, they won, lost, and drew an equal number of matches. Although I've not recorded the number of losses, let's just see 3 wins, 1 draw, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 win, 2 draw, and 1 draw, 0 wins, 1 draw. It is not similar. It is not similar at all. And therefore, the statement that is correct is 1 only, or option A is the right answer. That will be the entirety of this set.